Here's a brother with a big backpack. Let's see if we can help him out. Hey there, brother. You need a lift? Can I help you out?
Oh, I'm just headed right around the corner.
Oh, well, hop on in. I'll give you a ride. Why not? Take a break. I can turn around.
Okay.
I see you. Throw your packing back if you want. Yeah. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Hanging in there?
Yeah.
Grab a Diet Pepsi if you want one there.
Oh, none for me, thank you.
Hey, we're riding. We're riding in luxury.
Okay. Thank you.
I was just out and about and I saw you walking. I know it's awful cold to be out on a day like today.
Yeah, it's warming up. It's warmer than it was, but it is definitely still chilly.
Yeah.
Doing my best to enjoy the sun.
What, are you living on the street, if I can ask?
I came out here. Some friends told me about an eco-village that's out on the other side of Freedom.
Yeah?
Didn't work out. I ended up walking out there all day, like 3-4 days ago.
You know, did you get some lunch? Can I buy you a burger?
I've eaten. Thank you, though.
Okay. I'll just get some around up here. Where were you living?
I'm headed back to St. Louis now. Like I'm gonna catch the bus down here at the station at 5:50 this evening.
Oh.
And head back to St. Louis. But
you got a ticket and everything?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, one of my friends that had told me about the place out here. He picked me
mission?
up a ticket. Well, no, he told me about the eco village I went out to, but it didn't work out. It was like there was only one guy there with his kids. He was not very friendly or receptive.
Was he a weirdo?
I mean, it was more like, I think he's had a lot of people stop in there thinking it's just a commune and they can just come crash and whatever. And he's got
like a flop house type.
Yeah,
situation?
yeah. And he's got his kids there, or the kids that he's in charge of, whatever the deal was, and he was just not cool with that. You know, we worked it out. I got him to calm down a little bit, but I just hit the road again. Someone gave me a ride out from all the way out there. They picked me up on the highway, and while I was walking back.
How far away?
I guess I was probably, I don't know, 15 miles out. Still.
What, you were going down the highway?
Yeah.
You got some good Samaritan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, so he picked me up and brought me back out here. He brought me to the Walmart out on the edge of town.
Okay, I gotcha.
That night, I slept in some boxes underneath the tree right there, and I was flirting with frostbite and the whole deal.
Oh no! What's your name, man?
John.
John, I'm Zook.
Zook, nice to meet you.
Do you got a good sleeping bag, or?
Oh well, I'm gonna be all right now. I've got a layover for an hour in Indianapolis, but
No, I mean when you were sleeping out in the cold.
Oh, I know. I just had my I've got some insulated coveralls in there, or overalls.
Yeah.
And I did have a couple blankets with me. I got everything I brought's wool, you know, and this is wool too. So I was okay, but it was definitely cold, and so I knew I was going to find a shelter at the very least. So I ended up out there at the Wheeler Mission.
Yeah.
And I've been there the last 2 nights.
How are the accommodations there?
I mean, it's all right. It's changed a lot since the last time I spent any time in a shelter. Just because I've changed, really. I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking cigarettes, I don't even drink coffee anymore, so it's like, and basically those guys are just kind of all hanging out in the day room watching TV, a bunch of them are high, they're going out smoking all the time and everything, you know, so it's just major culture shock type of thing, but it's a warm place to sleep, the food's not terrible.
What, do they give you like meatless spaghetti, that kind of thing?
No, it's all donation based. So, and I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian.
Oh.
I do occasionally eat fish. I had salmon last night because they had salmon.
They had salmon over at the shelter?
Yeah.
Salmon night.
Someone donated a bunch of salmon. Yeah, and so I did eat salmon. I haven't had any fish in probably a month. I think when I was in Idaho, I had some like a tuna sandwich or something like that.
Well, you're quite the intrepid sojourner.
Yeah, it's I'm out here on a real adventure for sure.
Well, how'd you get up here from St. Louis?
So I ended up, there was an event that I went to go check out in Effingham, and then it was actually the same guy who bought me the ticket back out of here. Oh, here, I'll turn this off because it's telling me what to do, and I don't need its directions anymore. And
Effingham, Illinois?
yes, exactly.
Or in southern Indiana, here we call it Illinois.
Okay, yeah. and he had bought me a ticket up here to come check out the Eco Village.
I see.
I was hoping it might be a place to maybe board there and do some work for him or whatever, but maybe in a couple months, but not right now. And they have a spring event. I may come back out when they have that and check it out.
Is that here in Bloomington, or is that more in
it's in Freedom, which is out, I guess. The way I walked out there is I took the 48 until it turns to the 43. I took the North 43. I guess the other way to get out there might be the 46. I think that's probably the main highway that goes out there, or the 127. I don't know all the highways out here really well yet. Maybe it's 123.
What were you doing out in Idaho?
That's where I came. I came from Washington, and that was just one of the stops along the way.
That's
when
like
I was on the bus out here.
Mount St. Helen and all that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
A little Puget Sound.
Yep. That whole area. I grew up on the east side of the Cascades, so a little bit a ways from all of that. It's like basically right in the center of the state. There's a place called Devil's Gulch. It's like a big like bicycling spot. A lot of bicyclers go through there. There's a route that goes through there that's like the off-road cross-country guys.
Oh, okay.
It's apparently there's a big thing where a lot of people will travel cross-country from coast to coast off-road. I mean, they're still in vehicles, but it's like dirt roads, going through the country like that. And so the route for that runs right through Devil's Gulch and right past where I grew up at.
Did you do like backpack through there?
No, I basically, it was all bus rides. I rode the bus from one of my friends came to visit and needed someone to help her get partway across the country, and so we left there on the bus from my place, and then it's my dad's place. It's the old family homestead.
Okay.
But it was time for a change. I've been up there by myself in the mountains for like the last 8 years. And
what do you have, like a hut up in the mountains?
I was in an RV most recently, but there's a couple shacks that I've been working on off and on for years. My dad's really like a terrific hoarder, though. So
your dad's a hoarder, so's mine.
Yeah. And so you know what it's like? It's basically just a big junkyard.
Well, yeah. My dad's, it's a garbage yard. Because junk has some kind of utility to it, but it's just mounds of garbage. Mm-hmm. Kind of like, you remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
When Richard Dreyfuss builds a big mound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
totally.
It's that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. And so my dad's very similar to that. He had a lot of friends that were junkers, like scrappers and whatnot. And so there's a lot of old junk vehicles there, just a lot of just random metal trash and whatnot. They've all basically passed on at this point, though.
And he inherited their junk.
Well, yeah. I mean, he invited them to come out there and do it, And it's like for a long time they were smashing vehicles, and then they'd haul them over to the coast when the price was right and whatnot. I've been working on cleaning the place up and turning it into like a permacultural commune eco village out there too, but I've basically been doing it by myself for years, and it got old.
Yeah, because you're roughing it. There's no electricity or anything.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's electricity in places, but it's not like this, And the way he runs his electricity is very sub code.
That means there's like Romex everywhere?
Oh, yeah. Yep, exactly. There's Romex running everywhere. And literally the Romex that runs up to the area where I was living most recently, it goes through a trailer, like a mobile home. Mm-hmm. And the Romex is bared down to wire and stuffed into the plug-in.
Oh, boy.
Plug-in.
The fire marshal would not like that.
Yeah, well, and that's the last time there was a fire up there. The fire marshal had no problem believing that it was an electrical fire of some time. Or some type, because...
So what about, can you, take a dip in is there like a creek or a stream?
Oh, yeah, there's two creeks.
To shower up?
And that's part of one of the real blessings, one of the perks of living up there is the property. There's two parcels that are kitty corner, but the lower one sits right on where two creeks come together.
Okay, you see, here in southern Indiana, we call it cattywampus instead of kitty corner.
Okay, yeah,
cattywampus.
Okay, so yeah, there's two cattywampus parcels. Yeah. The other one has no roads that go to it, and it's up on the hill.
Well, that's God's country up there, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Do people own the land, or is it just unbroken wilderness?
A little of both. For sure. Oh, I'm back up in there.
Oh,
is where the...
I get to talking and...
Oh yeah, me too.
And I wind up missing my turn.
And I've got plenty of time for my part. My bus still doesn't leave for like 3 hours.
Okay.
And I was going to go hang out at the library, but then I realized, because they don't let you have knives in there, and so I realized that I left both of my knives at the shelter. So that's why I was walking back to get the knives from the shelter, and then go back down to the bus station when you picked me up.
Oh, you know what? You can go grab what you need. I can wait for you, and then I can take you down to the bus if you want.
Okay, all right, that'd be awesome. Or to the library.
Yeah,
I was just going to go hang out at the library for a while.
Yeah, or as we say here in southern Indiana, instead of library, we say library.
Library.
Well,
okay.
The library.
The library. All
okay.
right.
All right. Let me get turned around here. I'm glad to help out. You said you had a problem with the booze. What was going on with that?
Oh, it was just, I mean, off and on I have, but it was just time for me to stop. And I stopped a lot of that stuff. I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking tobacco. Stopped drinking coffee.
Did you ever spend a few hard nights in the drunk tank there in the county jail?
No, I mean, I've done some time when I was much, much younger. But none
you
of it,
like
none
a
of
bank
it was
robber or anything like that?
No. I mean, so there were property crimes involved. I was a roughneck when I was a lot younger, looking for my place in the world.
Did you like take a swing at a cop or whatever?
No, it was we stole some guns. What,
it was like a breaking and entering type thing?
Car prowl. It was a car prowl thing.
What's
breaking into someone's car and taking the stuff that was in there.
How'd you get caught?
And because the guys that I was doing it with, they wanted to learn how to do it. And I came from a bigger city. It was a small town, and I was showing them the ropes. And literally every single person that got it, they all got caught and they all snitched.
So what would you guys do? Like see a truck that had like a Winchester in the back window and like bash out the window and grab it?
No, it was not targeted per se. It was just walking down the road picking random vehicles, and it turned out that random car had guns in it. That one had it was one gun. So and it was
was it like a 44 Magnum, like Dirty Harry?
No, it was just like an off-type Egyptian make 9mm that was in a lockbox underneath the seat.
How'd you get the lockbox open?
We took the whole lockbox, took it over to the park behind the college that was right around the corner, and just beat the heck out of it until it broke open.
So you didn't know what was in there?
Exactly. Well, I mean, the way it was, as heavy as it was and the way it was rattling around, I was pretty sure there was a gun in there at that point.
Well, so then what do you do with the gun?
I ended up selling it. I ended up turning around and selling it to someone.
Well, like a black market type thing?
Exactly, yeah. Where I grew up at was right next to the reservation. So it's right past the Pizza X. That next turn is where it's at.
So how much did you make off the gun? Do you remember?
Oh, I think I sold it to him for like $100 or something like that. Yeah.
Was there any ammo included?
Yeah, there was ammo.
Well, I hope the guy didn't commit a crime with it.
I mean, I don't think he did. He probably turned around and sold it himself. I've never heard of him committing a crime. He was one of the local troublemakers on the reservation.
Oh, you lived on the...
Well, it was near the reservation. Where I was at was off the res, but he was a native.
Are you an Indian?
No, not. I've there's been, well, okay, so maybe way back on my mom's side, on the French Canadian side.
Oh, French Canadian,
it's
right on.
far enough back.
Is it over here?
Yes. Yeah, it's I'm just gonna go through the door right there where those guys are standing.
Okay, I'll wait here for you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
That sounds good. Oh.
And so on the French Canadian side, I might be, but it's so far back it doesn't show up in the DNA. Because I had DNA done a while back, and they said there was no evidence of native DNA at all.
Okay. All right, I'll wait
right,
here.
I'll be right back.
Your name again is?
John.
John, right on, John. I'll be right here. Yeah, Zook.
All right.
Yeah. Send these guys over for a Diet Pepsi if you would.
Okay.
Tell them I got free Diet Pepsi.
Okay. Anybody want Diet Pepsi?
Hey, you want a pop? You want Diet Pepsi, brother? Everything going okay?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah. What's new with you?
Nothing much, man. Just trying to get by.
Yeah. What do you? What you want one?
Yeah, I'll take one.
Yeah, help out a brother in need.
I'll take them in too.
Yeah, here's two. Right. Pass it on.
I got you.
Okay. Hey, good luck to you, man. Keep warm, okay?
All right.
What do you think of this deer stalker hat?
That's amazing,
Can you see it?
bro.
Yeah. The chicks like it.
Where'd you get that at?
I ordered it. I thought I was going to be like Sherlock Holmes for a while, but it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
So.
Alrighty. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. And that's our buddy John there. He came to a commune here in Indiana, trusting guy. He left me his survival kit here, and now he's going in to get his knives, it looked like. We're at the Wheeler Mission Inn homeless shelter here in Bloomington, Indiana. They always do a wonderful job. I've been in there a time or two looking for a friend or dropping somebody off. Shout out to Wheeler Mission Inn. We love you guys. Ding ding. Maybe here's another guy. Looks like he might want a Diet Pepsi. Hey brother, you want a pop? Come on over. It's diet. Nectar of the gods. There. Here, I'll give you two. You can. That dude looks shy. You can give him one. Help a brother out. What's your name?
Kyle.
Kyle, what do you think of my deerstalker cap here, Kyle?
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right on.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. All right. You know this dude here? He looks lonely.
Yeah, he's probably still coming down or something, I would think.
Hey,
I don't know.
Hey, brother, you want Diet Pepsi? Here, we'll give you two. How about one for now, one for later? You can handle this too.
Yeah.
You doing okay, man?
Have a good one.
He doesn't look like he's in very good shape there.
Yeah, it's...
Oh boy. Well, we'll say a prayer for him.
Absolutely. It's they're all, even the guys that are really strung out, there's usually a reason why they're strung out. Nobody chases their whole life down a needle or a bottle or whatever it is that they're doing for nothing.
Well,
there's some reason why they're doing it.
Yeah. Did you ever do any drugs?
Oh yeah. I was doing drugs when I was doing crimes back in the day, when I was like 17, 18, and I got my comeuppance for it. I ended up doing a couple years in the institution.
Were you in the big house?
Yeah. I was actually
in Idaho?
In Washington. They
like the Tacoma Valley Correctional Center, something like that.
No, I was out in I was in Shelton, which is like general receiving for the whole state, and it's near Tacoma, like an hour or so from Tacoma. But then from there, 2 days after 9/11 happened, they moved me to Washington State Penitentiary.
That's like the big house. Where is it?
Yeah. It's the most notorious one. Like, if you ever see pictures of the Washington Penitentiary with like the Hells Angels with their Harleys out in the yard and whatnot, that's the place.
Now, how was the food in the joint there?
I mean, it was all right. Honestly, the worst food anywhere was when I got out to Airway Heights Correctional Center, which is more by Spokane, and they had every so often they'd have curry night, and it was this pea soup green chicken curry, and they would end up with like 6 trash cans just full of food when they did that night, because nobody ate it. They would, they'd go get their trays of food, and they made you take the curry too, unless you were like a special case. Certain people got a special diet because they had medical conditions or whatever, but now, everybody else got it.
Could you complain to the warden or anything?
I think everybody complained about it. I think they've been complaining for a long time. Probably some of the staff complained too.
How were the guards? Were they a bunch of hard asses?
Some of both. It was like...
were they susceptible to a bribe? Could you bribe them?
I mean, some of them probably were. I think some of them were had substance issues themselves.
Sometimes it was kind of hard to tell who the guards and who the inmates were.
It could be, for sure. Yeah, there was one guy that he'd be sneaking around outside of the tiers, peeking through the windows, trying to catch people breaking the rules or whatever,
boy.
So he could write them up, give them a citation for it.
What, he thought he was like large and in charge?
Oh yeah,
dudes?
Yeah, RoboCop type of guy. But the story was that he had a methamphetamine habit, and that's why he'd be out there all tweaking around, doing the things he was doing, was because he was using as well.
Well, you could still get drugs in the big house?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You could. I mean, in many cases, the guards are the ones that bring it in.
Huh.
And there's a whole story behind that too, where because I years later, I had a really good friend who was a retired captain from Oregon State Penitentiary, and he told me about how basically a lot of these institutions, in not everywhere, but in some places, the state police and the Department of Corrections and the departments of prisons were basically cartels. They were started by corrupt families after World War II.
Is that a fact?
And yeah. He wrote a book about it. He had all this documentation and so on and so forth. At the penitentiary where he'd worked, the guards actually murdered their own warden because he was getting ready to shut them down and blow the whistle on all of them. And they basically killed him on the doorstep of the prison, like, you know, out the front where the employees go in and come in and go. But the story was they tried to make it out like he had been picked off by a disgruntled convict that had gotten out, and the narrative was that he'd gotten stabbed at his car and walked up to the front steps of the prison and died there. But there was blood all over the place outside the front door. There was no blood trail from where he supposedly walked from his car, and he had like 20 some stab wounds. So it was clearly not true. If he had that many stab wounds at his car, there would have been blood everywhere going up to the steps.
I would sure think so.
Yeah, and so there was just a whole thing there, and he did all this research and showed where there was just all this layers of corruption that had been going on in these institutions for a long time. You should
write a book. Are you a decent writer?
Yeah. I'm that would probably be a good thing all the way around. I've been considering it for a while because in my travels, I've met a lot of interesting people. Not just him, but
hopefully I'm one of them.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I've never met a Zoop for starters.
Okay, well then we're off to...
That is a very cool cap, by the way.
Yeah, it's my Basil Rathbone deerstalker cap here, and I've got my Devo. You remember Devo? I've got the band. I've got my power dome in the back window there. If you didn't notice there.
Oh, I didn't. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you got to have hats. You got to have hats. You know.
For sure. Yeah, I'm waiting on a new hat. Actually, my same brother that paid for these bus tickets is making me a hat. He's over in Ohio.
Well, you know what? It sounds like you really got your life turned around from where you started.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, good for you.
I'm a whole different critter than I was when I was young and a troublemaker.
You make it to church once in a while?
Yeah, from time to time.
Don't forget about the big boy upstairs.
Oh, I never do.
He's been good to us all.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to give you some old man lecture.
Oh no, not a bit. I believe very much. I don't necessarily make it to church that often, but I am a 1,000% believer.
Yeah, sometimes when you're out in the wilderness, you just gotta maybe go to the scripture before your morning dip in the creek or the stream or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's you don't have to go to a big fancy basilica in Belgrade, Serbia or anything like that.
Exactly. Yeah, wherever you go, there he is.
That's right.
You can't get away from him.
That's right. Yeah. The library's just up here, and you know the bus station's right over here.
Yes,
so
yes.
You probably got maybe an hour or so in the library. Remember
the library.
Yeah, the library here.
Exactly.
And then I'd say maybe at 4. You said your bus time is 5:15?
5:50.
Yeah, about 5 o'clock. You can probably start wandering over you want to do it. Bloomington's a real nice town, real nice college town.
It seems like it. It's I've been admiring the art and the architecture.
Oh, right on.
And I love college towns. I'm not, again, because of the way I've grew up and the way I've lived most of the last decade.
Well, wanderlust.
Yeah, well, but big cities are kind of uncomfortable for me. I'm still getting used to being around big groups of people and everything. But I like college towns. The atmosphere is different, and there's a lot more beautiful architecture, beautiful artwork. St. Louis, I think, is going to be a good exception. It's a rough town, but there's a lot of art. Art is really a thing there.
What, do they have a big ghetto in St. Louis?
Well, it's kind of everywhere. There's so many people on the streets these days.
Sucks.
And it's just in general. I mean, there are some neighborhoods that are worse than others, but it's like they're a badly kept secret, I suppose. That St. Louis has the high. So it's still behind, I want to say, Chicago and DC as far as statistical numbers, but per capita it now has the highest murder rate in the country. So it is a pretty rough town, but I've never had any problems with anybody. No one's tried to mug me or anything, and half the trick is just minding your own business.
I've heard that. I'll tell you what, and I got a parting gift here. You want a pair of sunglasses?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, here.
Thank you.
Let's see how you look in them here. See? Look at that.
Yeah,
Great minds think alike.
All right.
So, hey, it was a pleasure seeing you. Good luck.
Yes, thank you very much.
Congratulations on getting your issues straightened out. You give a great story.
Thank you. Thank
All
you
right.
very much. Have a blessed day.
I will have a blessed day indeed. Don't forget your survival kit here, of course.
Right?
Okay. Hey, you keep rocking in the free world.
I will do that.
Okay.
You as well.
You look good in those sunglasses.
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you later. All right. Adios.
Adios.
All right. Well, look at there. Look at there. Wasn't that a fun story? Here we have John just walking along. He came to Bloomington, actually Freedom, Indiana. I'm not exactly sure where that is, to go to some commune. To some commune place. Don't you just admire the sense of adventure this guy has? He's got all his earthlies in his backpack there, and apparently he's got a brother who's looking after him. I mean, he was as sober as a judge and was fairly eloquent and told a very captivating story. Obviously was some kind of led a life of petty crime, it sounds like, in his earlier years, but he seems very content, very looking forward to the future, and he's a man of simple means. That's for sure. So, hey, let's get back out on the streets. It's a cold February afternoon here in southern Indiana. And for that, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab that rope and I'm going to go ding, 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 just like Quasimodo.